Okay, I'm gonna assume you can hear me, Fritzy. It's just you and me. Oh, we got Drin in here. So we're gonna be today talking about that. Is not how I want to form that sentence. We're gonna be talking about GVT and VeChain. So two things that we're probably happy and or sad about, depending on where we fall in the spectrum of when we pick those two up. So we haven't done a ton of coin focuses, and I apologize for that, but now that we're on somewhat of a regular schedule, or at least I am, we're going to try to do more of these. Luckily, Genesis Vision and VeChain have remained on the lists. I think I took VeChain off last month or the month before, and I should have probably left it on. I still really like it. I know there's a lot of questions in here in the server about VeChain because it's been on a pretty noticeable downtrend, right? What are we, crazy if we're not noticing it? I also let people know my trading amounts of VeChain that I use to gain more Bitcoin and Satoshis, have been out of for 2-3 weeks now, maybe. So I'm not looking at it as a short-term or medium-term great play, but long-term still love it. Super happy. And some of the X-Node stuff that they revealed, which we'll get into, is also quite interesting. So that is something we'll get into. And then the other one, GVT, Genesis Vision, has been having a great month. What is it at right now? 360,000, 362,000 Satoshi, around $31. We were seeing it touch $40 and 420,000 Satoshi not too long ago. So two coins I'm very happy with, that I've basically kind of been riding for the most part through these choppy waters. Now, I'd be remiss if we weren't talking about the state of the market, where I think a lot of people are getting kind of freaked out, right? They're getting a little, oh man, I thought we were up over at 11,600. We're like above 11,000. Oh, well, at least we're in 10,000. Oh, well, then we dropped to 9,000, high 9,000s, then low 9,000s. Now we're below 9,000 now. So like, here's the thing. Stop freaking out about it unless you're planning on cashing out. Now, if you were planning on cashing out a sizable amount and you're stuck in this downtrend, one of two things has probably happened. You've probably you've probably underestimated the market, the choppiness that's involved in what's going on right now, and you've also probably shouldn't have put in as much maybe as you thought you needed to. Now, if you're taking money out and you're still up big and you just have to take it out, that's okay. So it's not also the worst thing in the world. Like, worst case scenario, if I had to pull everything out right now, I'd still be ahead. I wouldn't be happy pulling it out when the market is this depressed, but it's not the worst thing in the world. So we'll talk a little bit about what's going on. The main thing is, don't freak out. This is great. If you like Bitcoin or Ether or whatever it is you're buying initially to get into it at former prices, you should love these prices too. It's a no-brainer. So, and just for some quick prognostication, this is not really based on too much, but I'm thinking maybe we hit 7,600. Maybe we test the bottom again. Who knows? Either way, don't freak out. I bought some Bitcoin at 9,600. I immediately turned that into some GVT. I think it was GVT. Maybe it was Monero at the time. Either way, whatever I turned into made a little bit of money. So my point is you shouldn't really freak out unless you're pulling money out, about to, or you just put it in and you're sitting in that thing. And hopefully that's not taking a very long time and you're buying these things purposely. If you bought Bitcoin at 9,600 and you thought it was only going to go up, you'd be upset now. But if you bought it with the purpose of getting something else that eventually went up or has gone up, it's not bad. Okay, so let's talk about Genesis Vision. Should we start there? It's had a great month. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I know it's one of the few coins this month that has steadily been going up. If you're on Binance, which is where I get my GVT, you can take a look here. Let's look at the 4-hour. Let's look at the daily. Okay. So we're looking at GVT, and we can look at certain dates here to see peaks. So we see, the highest it peaked to, oops, I'm on Ether. I was like, that doesn't look like GVT's chart. There we go. That's a nice steady growth. And we can see if you just have the basic Binance moving averages set up, you can see whenever the 7-day moving average crosses the 25-day moving average, that's the yellow and purple lines respectively, you can say we get some pretty predictable, nice action. Now you can say that's looking after the fact, or that's, yeah, but just something to note. It's not, they're indicators. Doesn't mean that every time that happens, something is going to go great, but just look at that. So this is what we want to see in a chart if we're investing heavily into it, is just pretty organic growth. We expect this to go down at some point, and we're certainly seeing that today on the daily. We see it get pushed down from about 420,000, almost 423,000, or 427,000 yesterday, to a low point of 330,000. So this is just the chart. Just want to show you that it's been a pretty healthy investment. You know, we don't have to go through the percentage gains. The last time it was up around here was January 12th. And just so everyone is familiar with, if we're looking at the volume for GVT, even if we go back to the weekly, it was very, very low up until about the end of December, I want to say. Even then, like, the real overall volume in Bitcoin was low. So it used to get used. The reason I'm bringing this up, it was used for pump and dumps pretty often back in the day. So it wouldn't be uncommon to see GVT go up 100, 150%, 200%, because groups would target them because of low volume. You can make the price go up. People fear of missing out, they go in and they dump them. So that was something that was going on. So when we see these wild spikes up on the weekly, that sometimes is what that is. So let's talk about Genesis Vision. What is it? What does it do? Why is it doing things? So let's see. I don't know. It's a stupid shit coin that we don't know why reinvent. Just kidding. It's one of my favorite coins because it serves a real world use, a very practical use case. It uses blockchain technology, which is a buzzword at this point, but it uses smart contracts and essentially, you know, immutable and record. You cut out middlemen from the brokerage process, but it also creates this very interesting ecosystem of having investors and brokers have essentially their own currencies, which you can invest in, and their moves, if you own that currency, you make money as well. And that gets paid out in GVT, and it's very interesting. And it's not just for cryptocurrency. It's for Forex. It's for traditional stocks and commodities, emerging markets. It's going to be for a lot of cool stuff, and it's smart contract enabled. So they also have very good partnerships with people that I highly suggest you look into, but that is why I started investing in GVT. Another reason, and I spoke about it in the low supply coin chat from yesterday, was it low supply. Really low supply. If it's a real product, and I want to speak a little bit how it got low supply. So Genesis Vision, they had an ICO, and I don't think they hit their hard cap. So they burned all of the tokens. You know, they got rid of them. And that's, I think, a very ethical thing to do. They could have just kept them, but they burned them all, and they said, all right, that's it. We're not going to have a coin that, you know, we didn't sell all these things that we wanted to sell. So there's a low supply. I think there's 5 million total. I think 3.7 million circulating. And it's a very interesting platform. Their alpha, you know, their actual platform, they did a contest in February, but their actual platform launches in April. And it should be interesting to see what happens. And theoretically, you can start earning some passive income this year if you are participating in there. We'll see how the alpha goes. I don't think this is going to be a huge thing right off jump. I also expect the price to kind of dump right around the news of the alpha launching, before or after, just like we saw with VeChain. So I really like GVT. You see a lot of crazy prices thrown around for these things, you know, especially when the market was booming in December. You know, people were like, yeah, it's going to be, you know, $100 in a couple of months. I think, I guess that's possible. My target for GVT this year would be a conservative $50 if we're looking in fiat. Satoshi-wise, who knows, right? It's been gaining steadily, irrespective of the price of Bitcoin. That to me is very important. So if that's the case, what can we do to, you know, what are we doing with this? To me, I trade it because it's gaining, but I also make sure I have enough of it that if I get caught in a situation, I have a minimum amount that I feel comfortable with. I think GVT, if it evolves into if it really does what it's supposed to do and people use it, and it really is adopted widely for investors, I think it's going to be a pretty big one. It's one of my biggest plays, I think, in terms of having confidence. That and VeChain. I may be even a little more confident in GVT's utility because it's a little less extensive and ambitious. But I really think VeChain is just positioned so well. But either way, you can't lose with that. So what about that? We'll dovetail into VeChain. And if you have any questions about any of this stuff, and I can answer them, you can put them in the voice chat text. So let's talk about VeChain. What's going on? The world is over. We fucked up. It's the worst. VeChain's no good. They tried to save it with the nodes, but it's terrible. We're all exposed. Sell it all. Nope. It's still really good, but it has been in a descending channel, and it's totally expected. The truth is like, yeah, Matt, I've been on Reddit. I haven't been on Reddit in a while. It's the truth is that what you have to be aware of the dynamics that are at play, not just our belief potentially if we're invested heavily in something like VeChain, but what really is going on, and also recognize that not everyone who's invested in VeChain really knows what it is, really cares to know what it is, or has any idea of what it could potentially be. That's really important, because if we think everyone is like us, VeChain's the best, oh my God, it's world changing, the economic paradigm, this whole thing, then we're going to make decisions based on everyone thinking that's wrong. That's the illusion of central position, right? Thinking that you know everything about everything, and everything is just a reflection of you. It's not how it really works, so that's not what we do. VeChain has a lot of different elements to it right now. It's a popular, good coin. The market is going down. That surely affects the prices of people who need Bitcoin or Ethereum to buy VeChain at this point. Or unless you have a Korean won, I think they have that pairing now, right? They introduced that. But in terms of what's going on, I mean, you just have to understand that this is going to happen until there is substantial news, partnerships. I think VeChain's been pretty good about that. That Xnode stuff is huge. FYI, let's talk a little bit about that. If you know or have 6,000 VeChain and they're on the exchanges, you can get those together, get them off the exchanges before March 20th. Use something like my Ether wallet, something. Get them off in a publicly snapshotable wallet. What that means is that they can use Etherscan and see that it's sitting somewhere. So you can say, I was here. I declare myself an Xnode. You could do that. And then you get a whole host of benefits, of which I'm not going to specifically cover right now. But there is a Medium post, which is in the resources of this server, or on Twitter. I've posted it, I'm sure. Really a whole cool host of rewards. If you have 10,000, or I'm sorry, 16,000, get those in a wallet off the exchanges as well. And you can get a strength Xnode and so on and so forth for the other levels of nodes. That's super important to get them off the exchanges, because then they're mixed in with everything and they don't know who's who. So you have to do that. Outside of that, I mean, you're accumulating. If you see it dip to prices you like, what's it at right now? 38,000. I like it 37,000, but it could go lower than that. Not really going nuts. Dollar-wise, we're looking at like right above $3.40 right now. Those are important. If you're getting in, I think it's a pretty good price right now. I don't think you're going to be mad if you get in these prices. If you bought in higher, like me, some of my stacks, some of it much lower, but if you bought in higher exclusively and you bought this with the intention of holding, chill, do it. You don't have to worry about too much. You can try to sell it now, and if it drops more, get a little bit more, but I don't recommend that unless you're experienced in doing that. Love it. Their partnership with BMW is also very big, and we probably all saw the rebranding event. We're waiting for mainnet launch. We want to move this stuff over, get our nodes up and running. Just be patient. The same thing with the network. The same thing with the entire cryptosphere. Be patient. That's the whole point of this. We need to be patient and understand that we're not just trying to make money every second. Also, that's the other thing. I want to be very clear about this. If you find yourself getting freaked out that you're losing Bitcoin or dollars, take a step back. Just take a step back. Do you have bills you have to pay? Do you need to cash out so you can stop feeling stressed out about that? Then do that. You can probably make it back in the future. So just be aware of what you're going through that may be stressing or not stressing you out. People react to the volatility of the market, which is unfortunate because it's very volatile. And if you react crazily to every upswing or downswing, I think you're going to be freaked out. or, you know, not stable most of the time. So just try to find a perspective that you can lean on and, you know, doesn't freak you out. That's really important. So other than that, GVT, right? I've explained hopefully the skeleton of what it is. We can dig a lot deeper into this. That's what the server is for. And one of the reasons I have, you know, you ask questions in the server, I've said this to clients and other people, is because then everyone can see it. So that's really an important thing. It becomes a resource that everyone can look for. I'm not trying to just drive people to the server mindlessly. So, okay, let's see. Any questions? Howard, I see you just wrote something. The bank rejecting the bank transfer to Coinbase for the strength node while its VEN is slow. Yeah, don't freak out, man. I think it might even go lower. Think how great that would be. If it goes lower, you get more. And it doesn't really matter. Once you get the transfer, you can have purchased everything you need and get it into a wallet the same day. So like, if you can get up to like the 19th, probably the 20th. I don't know when the snapshot is, but just, you know, it's all good in the hood. Any questions related to any of this or generally? If not, I will end it. I will clip it right here. I will do it. I see someone typing. Samsara. It is all an illusion. Is the name Samsara typing? I'm not just, for people listening, I'm not just saying that. And Drindrin and Fritzy typing. Keeping things in perspective. That's very important. Keeping things in perspective. You know, in life in general. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. Historical snapshot. Yeah, you know. It's $924 in January of last year. Can you talk a little bit more about Strength Node? Yeah, Strength Node, you get a various percentage increases at each level of VET that you hold in a wallet. And those, you'll be generating Thor, which is the utility token in the VeChain ecosystem. I realize I probably skipped over a lot of this because I've covered it quite a bit. But with the Strength Node, 10,000, you get a 38.7% increase in the Thor generation. So that's significant. That's a huge increase relative to just generating it regularly. Now you also get an increase with the 6,000 level, which they introduced, which is the lowest level X node. I think it works out. I saw someone do the math. It was like 18.2%, but still substantial. But that is something that is time sensitive. You have to have it in a publicly snapshotable wallet by March 20th if you want any of the X nodes. The realistic X nodes that I assume people would be interested in would be the 6,000 level, the 16,000 level, which is a Strength Node X, which I don't think I can afford, but would love to, and also the Thunder 56,000, so on and so forth for the Mjolnir. Through time, don't worry about it. So yeah, these nodes give you a percentage increase in the Thor generation, which is the utility token within the VeChain ecosystem, which allows you to essentially create passive income if you were to sell it, depending on how these the public blockchain is utilized by the companies that VeChain brings on. I realized I probably didn't cover a lot of this related to VeChain. I'm just sounding like a cat. Yo, VeChain. VeChain, just for a quick summary, they're partnered with DNVGL, PricewaterhouseCoopers, PricewaterhouseCoopers. So they basically have 80,000 or so enterprise level customers who, if they need to use blockchain solutions, which again, buzzword, but what it really means in the supply chain logistics company is a way to verify where something has been through its entire lifeline or lifespan. That's super important for a lot of different industries. Some we know about, some we don't. Also, project that's already up and running, being used. Their mainnet launches in June. In terms of like how I would position them or describe VeChain is a bridge between the way stuff is done now or has been done in the past and how it will be done. Will they be around for 100 years like Sunny Liu wants, their CEO? I don't know. I hope so. Looks pretty cool. I think he has the right type of approach. He's very collaborative. He seems to not engage in controversies and is very upfront and transparent about what he believes and what the company is doing. And I look for that in leadership because I think it's a way to inspire confidence and also to take accountability when things don't go the way you want. So all of that stuff, I think, is important for VeChain, which is why the biggest holding in my portfolio continues to be VeChain. Just have it put away. I don't even keep it. If I kept this money, if I kept this VeChain on Binance, right? If I kept it there and watched what has happened over the past 3 months, let's be real here. When I say I'm not losing money, I am talking about my trading stack. So I'm telling my friend this way. I think at the peak, what was it, like $90,000 was a strength node? It's like $33,000. That's like 60 grand, somewhere around there. If I kept that and watched that amount go down, I probably wouldn't feel like I do now. It still happened, but I know psychologically where I got most of this, and I still would be up, just to be clear, for a lot of this, even though I've certainly lost money on some trades where I bought it higher. I know why I have it. I know how long I'm holding it for. I know people who I helped get set up for these things at various levels, high and low, that there's nothing to worry about. We're going to be good. You just got to hold it and let this stuff play out. So that's very important with all of this. If you have the funds and you bought it higher, you should like it lower. So, all right, that's it. Anything else question-wise? No problem. You're welcome. Okay, that's it. I'm going to clip it here, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.